name is Hallie and welcome to the Royalty! I am so happy to say that we're back. With the return of Robert Guilliman! How are we doing, everyone? I hope amazing. I'm super... Yo, Jarrett! It's already started, what do you mean? Hello! Hey, Alpaca, hey, Jarrett. I hope y'all are doing amazing. I really do. I'm super excited, honestly. For a lot of reasons. But mostly because I'm trialing out a couple of things today. And I'm going to be continuing to trial a couple of things for the next little while. There's a couple of different versions that I want to try. This includes doing things slightly differently. Hey Dan! Had to be here for Ultramarines Day. I'm glad. Some people, hey Spencer, some people were struggling to come in because they didn't know the live was happening and they'd come in halfway and they were disappointed. So there's a couple of different ways I'm trying to combat this. And realistically, there's a couple of different ways I can make this better. And I am hoping that, you know, we can find a way to make this work. Bear with me 1 second, something's gonna come up on the screen, I apologize. It's because I'm putting in a new source. Ignore that. It's to make sure that the TTS works. All right, get off. So I wanted to do that for starters. Let me make sure that this is set up. I'm so sorry. I've been having a heck of a week. I've been very busy, very busy. I love that you watch Adeptus Ridiculous. The only person reacting to 40k that I know that does. Well, I'm glad. It was actually recommended by one of our Patreons. So, but I was making sure that a different TTS was working. Thank you, Alpaca. Sorry about that. I'm so off my game today. Ignore me. First things I would like to say is huge thank you to all my royal patrons, my tier 2 supporter, Izzo, my tier 1 supporters, Hansel Panda, Suki SJ, Sternly, Dan Cohen, Chaos, 315, and Matt Ben. Your support allows me to make sponsor-free content because you're not a Patreon, Alpaca. If you're a Patreon, you can come on the list. But you gotta be a Patreon, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. That's first things first. Alright, let's get into this. And then we'll talk a little bit later. I just want some opinions. I will if you pay me? No, that would literally go against the point of Patreon. The Patreon's there so people can support me doing the content a lot more. Like, that literally goes against everything that I have the Patreon for. But thank you for the interest, Alpaca. Can I have suggestions for next week's live, please, as well? Because we will be holding the poll throughout the entire episode, I guess. And also, I will be trialing putting out the notification earlier, as well as... I'm watching something good, shut up. I will be putting out some of the alerts earlier. Hey, Cheeseburger! Or I will be starting the stream slightly later. I'm going to see how it affects. So in the next month, it's going to be one of the two. I'm either going to be live at 6, or I'm going to be live at 7:30. So watch out, there's going to be a few changes. Let's start. Because I'm a bit tongue-twisted today.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Adeptus.
Fulgrim's a good one.
It's that podcast where I, DK Diamantes, a fairly kinda sorta-ish noob, learn with you, the listener, about all of the most ridiculous things in Warhammer 40k from our resident, sort of expert, Bricky. But before we get this episode started, if you enjoy the podcast, definitely head on over to patreon.com/AdeptusRidiculous and support the podcast. We have like this Eldar that has these washboard abs, obviously. You know, the big assets that everybody is impressed with. There's also a Tau one that just came out that is.
Okay, so I'm just gonna wait for that to end the adverts. But first 4 that come into the chat will be on the list. I'm a heretic! What? You can't hate me! You can't hate me, come on. Alright, I'm waiting for one more. One more. I've got Space Shark, Space Marine chapter founding, Fulgrim. One more. Give me your idea. Alfarius. Thank you, Cheeseburger. Oh, Eldar's a good one. Eldar's a good one. I think we might have to throw that on another one, but I've got Fulgrim on this list. So you've not been ignored. So the poll will be running throughout the entire stream. Do vote if you want your choice on what we look at next week.
Just well, like, man, well, I mean, I'm selling it as hard as her abs, bro. Like,
dude, I was just like, hey, you want... Everyone wants a big titty goth Drukhari GF, but then they're always like, now stop torturing me.
Yeah, now you can have one, and you can print it out, put it on your wall.
I don't know what they're talking about. Can I... When does this start?
Yo, did somebody make an actual Doge Vandire mini?
I was so ready for some horrible look at his fucking chain.
What's going on?
Doge chain. That's
like creative. If you small stuff to obsessive domination, it's great.
That was.
When does this episode start? I want to know about Guilliman.
The other guy's like, what the
better playing this guy? Like, God,
oh, you to have. I wish it's okay because.
Purge the alien, kill the mutant, burn the heretic. Ouch. I need that model.
Today's episode.
It is a cool model.
We discussed a bit. We're on like episode 5. What was it? Horus and the Luna Wolves, Abaddon the Black Crusade, Fall of Cadia, Guilliman in general, and now, this was supposed to be the Indomitus Crusade and the Terran Crusade, everything after that. But your boy was doing his research and was like, hey, the Terran Crusade and the Indominus Crusade are very long. They're nothing but giant battles.
Hey, Lauren! Are you saying that we should be learning about Gorge? Vandire? Should we be learning about Vandire at some point? By the way, can y'all not, like, tie the poll, please? I have enough of a hard time trying to find out what to learn about without y'all tying the poll. Someone untie this, please.
There's more than just that, but they feel a little, I don't want to say boring, but it's lots of battles and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to start reading it. And then I started reading about the resurrection of Guilliman in its own right. And I got really invested. And most of my notes are on the revival of Guilliman. And I thought, okay, we're 5 episodes in. We'll do the Crusades some other time. After this episode, we'll return to normal. Maybe we'll do another legion, or we'll do another faction, a Xenos faction. Who knows?
Mateo, thank you for splitting the poll. Thank you. I had a 3-way tie there. I was like, what am I going to do with my life?
We'll go back to the standard different topics per episode kind of thing. But for today, I wanted to cover specifically one thing, because I don't think we need to try to edit another 1.5-hour video. And that is specifically on the resurrection of Guilliman, because it's actually
it's true.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Hey, Dagan!
I'm actually pretty hype, because I'm super interested to see, like, I'm not exactly sure how they revive him. I guess I'm more interested in, like, when he actually gets revived, because someone like Guilliman that was alive back in, like, the Horus Heresy, current Imperium has got to seem very heretical and very, like, just, oh boy, you guys misunderstood a lot of what we were trying to do back then.
I like the Sisters of Battle, so I'm excited. You're a man of culture. It does sound right. Hey, listen. Fulgrim is my patriarch, so I do need to learn about Fulgrim. it would be very cool to be able to do a Harley Hammer episode on Fulgrim. But I need to learn about him before I do that. And you know, all my Patreons, you can play a role in the series if you do have any episodes you want me to cover on Harley Hammer and you want to play a character, don't forget you have that choice. Just message me what character you want to play and I'll build an episode around it.
So I am super excited about how he gets revived and how he feels about everything around him when he gets revived.
That is the most exciting part to me. Honestly, the battle itself is pretty great, but everything else, mainly about like just the conversations between. There's a meme I saw a while ago, right? And it was it was the difference between men and women when it comes to watching movies.
Let's go, Mateo and his children.
And it's like,
Okay.
Women will watch Pride and Prejudice for the 17th fucking time in a row and cry every time. And then it was a lady who was like, men would much rather watch a 3-hour movie about guys being sad where nothing happens. And as someone whose mom has watched Pride and Prejudice 40 times.
Fulgrim does become a worse character when he goes full traitor. He's pretty base beforehand. Fulgrim is one of the saddest falls. In the end, it all came down to a small legion syndrome and wanting to catch up with his brothers. Well, now he has the Emperor's children ruling chaos, and I love that. I love that. I love everything about it. We're there for Slanesh.
And so all the action scenes and stuff, as cool as it is, for me, doesn't hold a candle to Duel.
Titanic, but
Either media, not particularly great, little rough, little not great. So
I may skip a little bit, but mostly because I want to know the lore. And I feel like the intro on this is quite long, and a lot of it is meme, and so a lot of it's like meme and chat. And like I'm down with the chat, but I want to like actually know about the stuff too.
unfortunately, after Abaddon was like, yeet,
Fabulous.
right after that, they basically need to start evacuating all the survivors. Now, these survivors were known as the Celestinian Crusade, and named after, you can guess who. And this Celestinian, well, okay, so let me back this up. Blackstone Fortress was thrown into Cadia. Eye of Terror, start expanding. They need to leave now, right?
immediately.
Yeah,
Immediately.
I get you.
So Call's pact with that old Harlequin. I think it was Solitaire, maybe, I forget. This helped him with this a little bit. And so the surviving warriors specifically made their way over and were able to actually get out through the assistance of the Eldar. Now, these surviving warriors...
So why did the Eldar help? Abaddon was losing, so he threw a fit and cheated. It's kind of a vibe though, right?
Were Saint Celestine, a decent amount of Sisters of Battle, of course. Celestine's Gemini Superior. I don't know if you know who those are. She has like 2 bodyguards that are kind of a little bit like her, except for the wings.
Okay. Yeah, I had no idea who they were, but all right.
She has 2 bodyguards, basically.
Cool.
They're their own characters. You have Inquisitor Grayfax,
Rylanor deserved better. Tell me why Rylanor deserved better.
which I didn't talk much about. We'll have to talk a little bit about them in a moment. You have...
Immediately, I thought... immediately, I was like, oh, he's like, send me the Carfax, send me the Grayfax.
We're here to talk about your Abaddon going all the way through the warp, blowing into Cadia, uses a Vox signal to go over to Creed, and he's like, I'm here to talk to you about your car's extended warranty.
Hey! I skipped ahead only past where they were memeing Florin. Come on. I thought it was funny how the best character in Ferrus Manus, and I've only skipped to 11 minutes in, and like the first 6 minutes was just a Patreon shout out. So like, I'm just saying. Fulgrim was great potential redemption story ruined by a single short story. Ouch. Oh, okay. How did he do that? I thought it was so funny how the best character in Ferrus Manus book was the Emperor's Children Marine who was with them. Good. Oh, okay. So I go Fulgrim, then Rylanor? Alright. Okay. Thank you for having that order set for me. So if Fulgrim wins, I'll learn about Rylanor the week after. Deal?
Oh no. Oh god. Everybody knows. Everybody has the same feeling when you say that.
Everyone groans excessively.
Yeah. Hang up, stop calling me.
There's a bunch of Black Templars as well. and all these forces make their way out, and they got to do a little bit of flashback stuff. So let me tell you a little bit about Inquisitor Grayfax. All right, she's a new character. Inquisitor Grayfax, a very long time ago, probably like hundreds of years, it was her. She's an Inquisitor of the Ordo Hereticus. So that is specifically the Ordo of the Inquisition that deals with heretics.
It does seem like Fulgrim is winning.
Of course. That one should be rather obvious. The Ordo Xenos deals with aliens. The Ordo Malleus deals with demons. Okay. Grayfax is a very recent character, and she and her group of Tempestus Scions were stolen by a certain Mimi robot man.
So I am going to let you know, if you have any actual recommendations, as in if you're doing this topic, this is what you should look at, put them in the comments after the end of the video, because I'd struggle to get through the actual stream to find the recommendations. So please do make a note of them and then put them in the comments as soon as the live ends, and I'll make sure that they're included if I can. That's for you, Mateo. And Stringstorm made a good song. I think that's what Mirror, I think that's what everyone just told me. Everyone just suddenly went, yes, Stringstorm, Rylanor. Someone put it in the comments for me after this. Deal? I should learn the actual story first, though. I will. Don't worry. I always leave the meme stuff to the end, usually. Or the story stuff, because we've got some great story stuff coming up.
And they were captured by him, and during the battle at Cadia, he used them in the Pokeball and threw them out. And so Grayfax and her Scions were there to help fight during all that shenanigans.
Yeah.
Now, Grayfax, I actually listened to an audio novel thing called Our Martyred Lady. It's about Grayfax and Celestine fighting off some chaos stuff. And it's interesting learning about Grayfax. She is a hard woman. She is very, very angry.
The first person to find that meme and put it in my Discord is my favorite person for the week. Oh, you always provide your own list then, and I love that. Because no matter what, I know I've got a good selection from you at least. And Isno actually gave me the recommendations for today, so we can all thank Isno. And just because my Patreons do give me recommendations doesn't mean I don't look at all the recommendations that are given across all my platforms, so in the comments, please do. So the troll owns the troll. Oh, that's so funny. But yes, whoever finds this meme and provides it to me will be my favorite person of the day.
All the time. Oh. And she does not like Celestine. She has this...
Hey, don't apologize! Stern. Right, so guys, I'm going to give a personal shout out to Stern right now. Stern gives so much for this channel. He sends weekly recommendations. He vets the content to make sure that it's appropriate for my stream. He literally maps out within a time frame that he knows my stream will go in between. Stern is amazing, and Stern has provided so many of the content that I have been watching and I've been learning from. So that's a big shout out for Stern because he really does assist. My Patreons are amazing. All of them not only support me through being a Patreon, but they also support me with supporting my content, with throwing ideas at me for taking part in things and contributing to feedback. So they're all amazing, but definitely huge thank you to Stern for all the work he's put in providing me React content and lore learning.
Kind of idea of like faith is used often as a tool for the non-righteous to prove that they are righteous.
Yo, insider trading!
So she looks at the greater demon of the emperor with a lot of disgust. You know? Yeah. So she's a pretty hard woman. She's very she's the psyker. She'll root out traitors in all these different kinds of ways. She can like mess with their minds and stuff. She's pretty smart, but she's very like harsh. Going from there, with Cawl, Celestine, Black Templars, some Skitarii, obviously.
Liam, I want to state, you do not have to support my Patreon. I set the lowest tier at £3 because I wanted it to be accessible to people. But if you don't have that, that is okay. Hey, Nosferatu, it has been a minute. You don't have to support me financially. You can like the stream. You can view the stream. You subscribe. All of that stuff helps me. Like, being here for my lives. Liam, you're here for so many lives. I'm going to give a couple of compliments right now. Liam, you are here for so many streams. You support me by being a viewer, by being an active chatter, by liking, by enjoying my content. It's the Pikachu with the gun that I want, Dan, yes. Dan, getting me the Pikachu meme! Like, you know what I mean, you guys? You guys are incredible supports. Yes, some people can help through the Patreon financially. Some can't. Being here, liking, means the absolute best thing to me, supporting me in any form. I appreciate you. Do not think it has to be financial. How's it been? It's been great, Nosferatu. We're learning about Guilliman's return. And where do you want it posted? Just put it in the main feed, please. And I want a picture of the Malamute, please, Liam. I would like to see it.
We gotta talk about the Ynnari.
How have you been?
Oh. Okay.
So, this is where we get into Yvraine, which I'm sure you've seen the memes.
Yeah, I have.
Yep, yes you have.
I have Robot Guilliman's big boob goth Eldar wife. I know these memes, and I know nothing about 40k.
Yeah, I hate people. So
Thank you, Dan. You are a G. See? Something as simple as that is finding me a meme. I'm going to use that everywhere.
So, we'll talk about the meme a little bit later because that's an important. I hope that she's in the thumbnail with Guilliman. I hope this thumbnail involves the two of them because it would it would sink the knife in. So, Yvraine. So, talking about the Ynnari is important when it comes to Guilliman.
Yo, Leo Film! You're back? What did you miss? I started Harley Hammer, which is a series that I'm knowledge checking myself, so you guys can yell at me if I get things wrong and correct me before I make a mistake on stream. But Dan, you did that. You did that. You know? That's love. That's support. Today, oh, okay. I didn't know how much you'd missed, Leo. Okay, so today, we've just started. We've been very chatty today and I'm loving it. I love talking to you guys. You guys make my week. Like, I have such a stressful week and then I come here and, like, we all just get to hang out. And it makes me really happy. So, to everyone, Dan, Florin, Leo, Liam, Sternly, Nosferatu, Insider, like, literally, Cheeseburger, Mateo, everyone, Dagon, like, I'm just, like, trying to pull out names of everyone I've seen today. And that's the thing, I struggle to do that because there's so many of you, Alpaca and Jarrett and Spencer, and if I didn't say your name, just wave at me because, like, I love you guys. I really do.
So, Yvraine is also known as the Daughter of Shades. Now, if you remember, Eldar are pricks.
With a space kitty? Dagon? I have a question. Which kitty are we talking about? Because she got 2 space kitties. Also, poll is tied again. Damn it, guys! Vote in the poll. Untie it now, please. My Twitch do this as well. My Twitch literally tie every poll. YouTube, I was so happy because y'all hadn't been doing that. Don't start now. Don't start now. It is hell. It is absolute hell for me.
Eldar, in their own right, are very mysterious, weird, sly people, right?
Yes, they are.
Yo, welcome in!
They're very fast, also. Like, they are blindingly fast, just from their movement and all. But
sure,
Yvraine, typical space elf. Yvraine has been kind of all over the place. Did you ever watch Adventure Time?
Yes. Mateo, just being Mirror. Of course, Mirror. I appreciate you too. You are the Alfarius of my dreams. Mateo, you don't need to speak to be appreciated. The fact that you're ever here, even once, means the world to me. It really does. I don't think you guys know how much I appreciate you. I don't get soppy a lot, but just know that you are my Imperium. and every single faction that you guys are in are equal in my eyes. And if I was to be the emperor of all mankind, I would be very proud to have you all as my legions.
Well, it's you don't need to watch Adventure Time. We're talking about Warhammer right now.
Yeah.
But so my girlfriend showed me a lot of that, and I'm sure Shy will give me imagery for this, but there's this character called Tree Trunks, which is this old woman playing an elephant.
Everyone, Dagon, that's my whole point. I want to destroy everything. She almost has a full chapter. I do almost have a full chapter. The heretic says you were on my Imperium. No one said it was their Imperium. They got their own. This is mine. Anyone who isn't Slanesh, yeah, let's... Oh, Alfarius just took over the poll! Yo! Okay, this one's divisive. This one is divisive. Let's go. We should make a homebrew. We are a homebrew! I'm making a competition. Whoever designs the Harley faction Space Marines, like armor colors and everything, if anyone wants to do it, like, I will change my body in Harley Hammer to that design. And we'll have our own faction colors and design. Doesn't have to be like super detailed. It doesn't have to be like, you can use AI art, anything, like just throw something together. Carcharodon Astra. Street Sharks, that's funny. Aren't they just the Emperor's children? But this is the thing. I am an Emperor's children, but we could make our own design. And we could be our own legion. Amongst legions, obviously.
There's an episode where she, like, her life, she was a pirate. She was like a dancer. She was constantly leaving other men to pursue like excitement. She has this like crazy ass backstory in this kids show. Yvraine kind of has that feeling a little bit where she's been around for a long time. She was a dancer, and then she was a warlock, and then she was an aspect warrior, and then she led a Eldar Corsairs, and then there was a mutiny against her. So she fled into the webway, where she ended up in Kamara. And she fought in Kamara as a gladiatorial lady, a gladiatrix. In the Crucible, she was like a succubus, basically. Like she's been around.
She's done a few things. Yeah,
she has.
It seems like she's led a life. Jeez.
So
yeah.
So her like insane life. Basically, at one point, she was fighting in the arena, and she actually had lost to a priestess. And when she was there, killed in the gladiatorial arena, there she was basically seen by this god. Eldar have their own gods.
I don't know if you guys know, but I have a subreddit, so like feel free to post anything in the subreddit as well. It might be easier for some of you. I don't know if a lot of you use Reddit, but it's under my name, like Harl's J, because, you know, first name Harley, last name J. So I do have that. It's mostly just got plain pasta in there at the moment. Ignore that. But if you do have any designs and you're not in the Discord, feel free to post them on the subreddit, because I'll still see them. I'll see everything. Tiberius for the win. Hey, Bestial! Hey, Spinal! Don't even worry about it.
They have like the avatar of Cain, which is the god of like war, but it's their version of the god. They have their own kinds of gods. I think like Kegarak is the god of the laughing god of the Harlequins. So
I've heard of that.
Basically,
I know Kegarak.
Ynnari, Ynnead, is the god of death for the Eldar. And when she died there, Ynnari actually ended up having her to act as his prophet in the material realm.
I'm a Harlequin. Does this work? Can I join the Harlequins now for a day? Tiberius was brought up a lot during the Lamentus crying session. Yes. Was indeed. Also, hey Spinal, hey Bastial. I think I said hi. You want your own god? Let's do it. We've already said... Spinal, did you hear him said we can make our own legion armor and color scheme? I'm taking suggestions, so feel free to mess around with your AI art.
and rebirthed her from death. And
Okay.
therefore, her as a craft world Eldar lady, at least I think so, would not have her soul taken by Slaanesh. If you remember that's what happens when they die.
Sure.
Or it goes into their.
Oh, so the subreddit is under my name, like my actual name is Harley. But I use Harls for short. But one sec, let me quickly grab my subreddit. Like I said, it's only got plain pasta in because we did a meme competition and everyone posted plain pasta. So, you know. Oh yeah, AI is scary in general. Yeah, it's mostly just shitposts. So be aware of that. So we're creating our own anti-Imperium. So you guys, I'm the leader of the Imperium, who is you all, and it's like our anti-Imperium. Like some of y'all might be loyalists, but this is like separate from the real world. This is like just our head working one. Can't do hands properly. That's funny. I can't do the other eye, so.
Their soul stone. Basically, he literally revived her from death. And this rebirth caused a lot of problems in Comarog, and a whole bunch of demons of Slaanesh kind of started bursting through there. Nothing that the city couldn't eventually deal with, but like, you're like, oh my god. But with this, she was running away from Vect, who was hot on her tail, along with a bunch of followers of the Drukhari, because she was kind of preaching this idea, now that she's like the prophet, that you need the god of death. They now have this idea that like a cycle of death and rebirth from the god of death is their way to stave off Slaanesh. You don't.
I was about to ask.
You know what? You saying Dorian is just so on brand because of I know it's Dornian, but like Dorian is the person who got me into Warhammer and starting this channel. What type of legion? Loyalist or chaotic? I've answered that. Heretics in a way. Space Marines put there. I wonder if there's a chaos one. Oh, I don't know.
That's that. I was gonna say like so. Other than like Soulstone or being a Drukhari, this is theoretically a way to save yourself from like your soul going to Slaanesh, but she obviously can't do this for everybody. So problems, I assume.
Right, and it's somewhat assumed that like once you die for the first time, that soul is no longer Slaaneshi taking the bull. I think. I'm sorry, Ynnari's fucking hard. But the long and short of it is that
Dagan, that's essentially what I'm doing right now. I'm making my own emperor. Sharks are winning. God, you guys, y'all are just all over the place. Y'all don't know what you want to watch. No, we just have some very, very big opinions. Fulgrim was in the lead, then Alfarius took the lead, and now Space Shark's taking the lead. This is going to be a tight ass poll. I look forward to seeing where it is at the end.
She, with some Dark Eldar followers, and this other really mysterious Boba Fett looking warrior guy called the Visarch, made their way to escape from Comarog. And so at that point, she got back to her craft world, and through that craft world, they had the entire craft world undergo this insane up and down of death and rebirth, death and rebirth, death and rebirth. And that brought something called the Yinkarn.
Oh, I forgot to mention, just out of, because some people have asked me what I'm doing with the Patreon money. It's the latecomers coming messing things up. Oh, behave. So I do want to specify what I'm doing with the Patreon money at first, because I think transparency is the best thing, is I'm getting a green screen so that we can stop blocking as much of the content. And like I can just have a little face of me at the bottom. So green screen is the first thing that we're sorting out. The sharks are way more interesting than people give them credit for, honestly. But I'm excited. There's a lot of things that I've got to learn about, but we'll get through them.
I'm sorry for these names, which is the avatar of Ynneed, like a demon of Ynneed into being. So the assumption is that in order to have them no longer embrace or have
I think so,
difficulties
Stan.
with Slanesh and embrace this cycle of life and rebirth, this is like the way of the Eldar. Hence why they're known as the Ynnari, which is called the Reborn. And the Ynnari is a combination of Craftworld, Drukhari, and Harlequins. It's followers from all three.
Can someone write that name in the comments afterwards? Because I want to learn about them. Drukhari and the Harlequins. Right, so here's the thing, y'all don't know. I actually was looking into the Harlequins in my own time. I'm actually really starting to like them. And Ynnari is something I think I'd like to look into. Maybe do a video on, like, separately.
3 groups.
Boy, that's a party I don't want to attend.
Yeah, it's honestly,
Well, yeah.
honestly,
Makes sense, right?
the Ynnari are. We'll have our episode on them eventually. I'm not even close to covering that. That is.
Yeah, they're weird.
Yes, I have about as much knowledge on them as I do about the fucking Alpha Legion.
Their gods
So-
look cool though. The pictures I posted, they look sick.
It's actually kind of an interesting spin on Eldar. They're still cocky sons of bitches, but if you don't want to be the murder torture ones, or you don't want to be the clowns, and you don't want to be the weeaboo assholes, then this is like a nice in between.
Couldn't you? Well,
I can be all 3! Also, I don't like that explanation because that is, yeah, vibe. Hi Matt, how are we doing?
since they're mixed of like Craft World, Drukhari, and what was the other one? Couldn't you take
Harlequins.
from all the the Harlequins? Couldn't you take from all those factions and just mix them and just be like, yeah, I'm playing as the Ynnari?
That's actually what Ynnari
Okay.
is in the tabletop. You can mix and match all 3 Eldar factions into one.
Oh, okay, and then you're
but-
technically playing as the. That makes sense. I'm dumb. Okay, good.
But you do lose some benefits from each, which is why the faction's not very good right now.
Okay.
But anyway, that's a whole thing on the Ynnari. Long story short, obviously
like
against chaos, the Ynnari are very, very anti. They're trying to figure it out. So, thanks to that pact that Cawl set up earlier, Yvrain, as well as the Visarch and members of the Ynnari, actually opened up a webway portal and was able to help all of the surviving members of Cadia. So
But why would the Eldar get involved in that? Like, what benefit is that for the Ynnari or the Eldar?
they popped out there in a webway portal and they let in Celestine, Grayfax, Cawl, Black Templars, everyone to get inside
didn't.
that portal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they were able to escape. So they were then able to go through the webway and teleport back out.
Very good point. Enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Well,
Oh no,
So-
where did they end up?
so they ended up actually in Ultramar. Remember Ultramar, right? The giant. The, yeah,
Ultramar.
Ultramar.
Ultramar. Let me see where the.
Sorry.
Welcome everyone to another episode.
Oh my god, what did I do? I thought I'd skip forward. Oh my god, I'm so dumb.
So they popped out there in a web coming to Ultramar with his full fleet. And they basically showed up, and this is parts from the book, but basically Cawl is all like,
I messed up.
According to my internal gyro catalog, we do not stand upon the surface of Macragge," which is obviously the ultramarine homeworld. It's like, we are located 160 million miles spinward of our intended destination, allowing for variable positioning and empiric distort. And just like, thanks, Cawl. Like, where the fuck are we? And then Yvrain is there, and she's all like, would you not have been gladded Monkai? You know about the Monkai thing, right?
Yeah, they call us
I
Monkai.
don't think I do.
They call humans
Oh,
Monkai.
wow, that's surprising. Eldar call humans Monkai.
I got it right!
Because you-
monkey.
Because
I'm
you can't call people monkey. That's politically not okay.
assuming.
But the Eldar do see them as horribly inferior, so they're known as the Monkai. It's an
Okay.
insult,
That's fair.
obviously.
Naturally. I mean, I guess if you're an Eldar, you would look at a human and be like, look at this inferior animal. That's fair.
Yep, that's why I think Eldar are douches. But she
Monkai.
says, "Would you not have been gladdened, Monkai, to find that my people kept would you have been gladdened to find that my people kept a hidden way upon the surface of one of your most prized worlds?"
Maybe mess with the video as a sign. No, I'm actually enjoying some of this. I'm learning about some stuff. Angron is returning? No way. I know Lion is.
And so
That's
the
fair.
webway portal took them to an ultramarine world, and the Black Templar guy is like, no, we
No.
would not, we would not like that.
No.
Everything here is very tense, because to say that people don't like the Eldar is an understatement in the sense of 40k especially. And now you've got the Black Templars, which are basically Sisters of Battle Space Marines in terms of their zealotism, and you've got an Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor there. And the only person there who's like being nice is two people. Cawl, because he's like, we need help, beep boop, and Celestine, because she's just nice.
Aw.
It's fair. Everybody else is probably they probably want to kill each other, but they fucking can't.
True.
I am surprised that not a lot of people like the Eldar. Is it just because they're douchebags in lore? Because like I figure everybody likes a space elf. Everybody likes a space elf, right?
No, sorry. I don't like the space elves because fighting against them in gameplay is agonizing, and because they're douchebags. Plenty of people think the Eldar are cool.
Okay.
That was
Cool.
specifically
Okay.
sorry. I was referring to the Imperium really doesn't like the Eldar. Like people don't like
sure.
the Eldar in lore.
The Eldar Almas are always looking to the future, so it's impossible to know what they're doing or why. That's true. Celestine is best girl. Celestine does seem like best girl. An engagement party? Oh. That's very cool. I may look into it. I hope you have the best time at the engagement party. Stern, if you could feed back in the private disc about your thoughts on the time change or any other detail, I'd be very grateful. Everyone wants a goth waifu until it's time to do goth things. I agree with that. I'll do the goth things for the goth waifu.
That makes sense to me. I'm like, okay. Imperium doesn't like
Have
the
fun!
fucking Xenos elves. Not a big shocker. Yeah, I thought you meant like just fans in general. I was like, whoa, like my my whole being was shifted with that.
No, people like the Eldar.
Yeah.
Craft World Eldar
I
is
like
a very
the Eldar.
popular faction, despite the fact that Games Workshop hasn't released a model for them since Bill Clinton was a president.
Why? Why?
That-
Release the
that-
elves.
No. That's half a joke. They made a couple, but by a couple
Okay.
I mean like two. The entire model line is basically that old. So
Oh.
yeah, they need new models. The Drukhari look good. Yeah, the Craft World Eldar needs help. Point being, basically, it's like, hey, we're on
You're not a fan of the elves? Why?
this world that your species calls Laphis in the star system of Macragge. So they're in the same star system as Macragge. And she said, in order to proceed, we need to locate the representatives of the Ultramarines. And then one of Celestine's ladies are like, and what if they're not inclined to like help us? We walk with aliens on our side and come uninvited into the world. And she's like, that's your problem, not mine.
Vibe?
These are your emperor's finest warriors, are they not? Surely they have the mental discipline to discern friend from foe. And
Oh, I don't like where this is
Pointy-eared
going.
Karen.
it's like this Black Templar guy is like, they have the mental discipline to remain wary of Xenos treachery and to suspect those who traffic with such creatures.
Oh.
And you're like, damn, let's not forget that the Black Templars are the CEO of racism.
It's
CEO of racism?
This is the foreshadowing feels very strong here. I don't think this is gonna end great.
Well, who knows? It is called the
Maybe.
resurrection of Robot Guilliman.
True.
I don't think I can be called a casual anymore. I'm definitely getting deep. I've been like doing this for months now. I am learning about lots of things, and I now know who all the lore guys are. who create these videos, and I follow them on Twitter now. So like I think I'm getting pretty deep into this. Hey orcs, look over there, and when you kill orcs, they shoot you in the head at best. Thank you, Matt.
True.
So basically, Abaddon is
Oh.
here, and he's causing problems. Now, this in standard bricky fashion, I'm about to skip a lot of the battles because it's a lot of just logistics and murdering, and it's way better in hey, let's read the book thing, not in this ridiculous episode. But basically, they met up with this guy. This guy. His name is Marnius Calgar. We didn't talk about Calgar much in the Ultramarines episode because it was mainly a Bob.
Jarrett, I'm trying. No, I'm obviously going off recommendations for the first while of running this channel because I don't know enough about Warhammer to recommend to myself what I want to learn about. So once I have a good overview of everything that I like need to know to understand other things, I can start getting into the more lesser known factions, which is why I said with the Ynnari and such, Ricky, do not apologize for being late. Never apologize for being late. But this is what I'm saying. I am going to be getting deeper and deeper, which is what Thursdays are going to be about. As soon as we've finished, you're a newly formed Chaos Empress. I'm trying, Nosferatu. I'm trying. No, but what I mean is, I need to know what I want to learn about. Because I don't know what I want to learn about, which is why I take all these recommendations, which I'm very grateful for, by the way. But Thursdays, as soon as we've finished Hell's Reach, will actually be a day for me to learn privately about a topic that interests me. So, in a nutty way, oh wow. So that's what I'm saying. On Thursdays, as soon as Hell's Reach over, I'm going to be saying, I want to learn about this, send me your videos. And it's something that I'm going to privately learn about and like go into. So it's going to be cool. We're going to be expanding on my knowledge. But I really am enjoying Hell's Reach, so I want to finish that first.
RBG episode. But Calgar is mainly known as Papa Smurf.
Nice.
Calgar is the chapter master of the Ultramarines. He is also the dude who got his arm and 2 of his legs sliced off by the Swarm Lord of Tyranids. So Calgar has, I think, fake legs and 2 gigantic fuck-off gauntlets. He
Could
is
have ended worse. That's pretty cool.
For a long time, there was this particular writer
Working on
who
it.
shall remain nameless, who wrote a bunch of lore
Matt
for
Ward.
Calgar and the Ultramarines
I knew it.
back in the day. And he made them so bonkersly overpowered. It's one of the reasons why people got annoyed with the Ultramarines for a while, because they were written as the greatest who ever was and could never fail.
Oh.
And in a sense, if you look at their deeds from a very flat out point of view, yeah, they fuck hard, but that's why a lot of people look at Calgar and they're like, nah. Chapter. He is the leader. Before Guilliman just recently came back, he was the leader of the Ultramarines, and people were like, ew, ultramarine.
Oh no, that's totally something they'd call themselves too. It's like, oh, these are the.
Why are they
best
gonna zoom in on that
Ultramarines.
cat like
What
that?
should we name them? Ultramarines. That's sounds. Like
Honestly, if you want to learn about Slaanesh, I think you're on the right path. Yeah, me too. I do love my Slaanesh.
Guilliman would come up with.
Hey, whoa, man.
Sorry, Guilliman's cool.
I know. I'm sorry.
but he
You
goes
don't
a little
deserve
crazy
it.
with the ultras.
Now, granted, Marnius Calgar does fuck. He's got 2 gauntlets with like bolters attached to them, and he runs around punching things. And
That's funny.
It's kind of cool because he's basically dual wielding power fists while shooting, while punching, and it's pretty neat. And he also has a great image of him on his throne, and he's
Our Lord and Savior, Matt Ward, praise his name. I actually make a Matt Ward joke in next week's Harley Hammer. I'm so sorry. Give me a second. I'm gonna keep listening while I.
like covered in drip. The man is
Oh,
just drip king. Yeah, you've seen it, right?
I remember that one from the Tyranid episode.
So he's arrived, and there's also a couple other characters, primarily among them all, someone named Chief Librarian
I
Tigerius.
just wanted to wipe my hand.
Now, Tigerius is another one of those Ultramarine characters that you might get annoyed by, but he's actually pretty cool. He is the
Okay.
chief psyker, and he's the only.
Can I just say I like your use of Falcon Punched? Falcon Punch makes me like so happy because like it feels like a melee reference. An avatar of the Eldar god with those gauntlets, that's hilarious. Slanesh blesses you. Slanesh blesses you too, Jarrett. Ultramarine Ultra. Ultimate Ultra. Yeah, true. Calgar also has a Marvel comic book. That is amazing. Where is that? Where can I find that? Also, I'm sorry to everyone who gets bullied for being a fan of the Ultramarines. You are valid, even if Matt Ward did ruin a lot of things. It's okay. We're repairing things.
Only person to have ever stuck his mind into the Tyranid hive mind
Why?
and survived.
Tigrius is my Discord avatar?
Just barely.
Okay.
But he looks pretty cool. He's like mega blue wizard. He's got a cool
he
like
does look
staff
cool.
and everything. Like Tigurius is neat. I think he's the strongest Space Marine psyker in the game.
Oh.
Besides like Grey Knight characters, but he's pretty badass. But they meet up with all of them, and Cawl is like, "Hey, I got this thing. He doesn't tell everything. He's like, "Hey, we got to make it to Guilliman's stasis room." And during this entire period of time, there's like jets and Abaddon's forces, and everything's blowing up in the sky. Like the whole like fucking planet's under siege, and it's just going crazy, right? He's giving Macragge a run for its money.
Hey, no one twats Slanesh that easy. Not in my world.
Which is intense because this is the Ultramarines' home world.
Yeah.
This is
The
big.
center. It's you get rid of that, I'm assuming Ultramar falls. Like it's over.
Maybe not falls, but it's a blow.
Yeah.
So everything's going mad there. There's all this battling and okay, so Calgar and the group led them to the chambers of Guilliman. And they finally got there, and it is a big
You doubt the power of Ward? Yes. Calgar versus Dante, who wins Dante? Exactly, Florin. He is the strongest diviner in the Imperium. He is so strong. His will is so strong, he reads the Tyranid hive minds on a regular basis to anticipate their moves. That's insane, to be fair.
fucking room. This is a
Also,
big
I'm going to drop a little hint for the Dan Cohen hinting at it. My next Hollyhammer video that comes out on Tuesday is about the Tyranids.
room, okay? Like
Okay.
I cannot express the level of how large this room is. This shrine is laughable. How big this thing is. It is like
Oh, wow.
the height. What's that giant structure in Dubai?
Oh, I don't know what it's called. I know what you're talking about though.
I forget the name of it, but
It's that giant thing in Dubai, everybody. You know it, I know it, we all know it. I just don't know what the name of the thing is.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's like that
Yeah.
tall. It's like the size of like an airfield.
Did I ever tell you that I was once on the 42nd floor of a building in Japan, in Tokyo, and I could see Tokyo Tower in front of me, and it was absolutely amazing. One of my favorite things that I've ever done.
And he's got like he's just kind of sitting there in this big stasis field, and he's just being held there
Yes.
the whole time in this nigh indestructible stasis field, keeping him there.
Yeah, keeping him mostly alive.
Yeah, he looks like Sleeping Beauty. I mean, hey man, he never lost his looks.
It's true.
And
He's in
so-
stasis.
Yeah, he didn't age, and so his nice little baby boy face is like, ooh, how pretty.
Ooh,
Ooh.
he's so cute. He's so cute.
But they make it there, and then Calgar stops with his giant Ultramarine guard after they do their bow and everything, and he turns around and he's like, "All right, Cawl, I've let you, like, you're the Archmagos.
Yeah.
I've accepted what you were going with for a while, but now we're here. Okay, you need to tell me everything you're doing. Okay, like you need to tell me everything you're doing because we don't quite trust you and your weirdness. And you come here with
Friendly
aliens,
fire.
and
Terrible.
you're carrying this giant vault behind you, and what the fuck?" So Cawl then tells the story of what Guilliman told him 10,000 years ago about the two things he needed. The Primaris Space Marines was the one, but the other one was to help save him in the possibility of his death. And for that, behind him, in this thing called the Auto Reliquary, is a suit of armor known as the Armor of Fate, which is a fucking kind of cool.
Can someone please untie the pole? Fulgrim's been forgotten, it seems. People did want Fulgrim for a while, and then Fulgrim died. Now it's between Space Sharks and Alfarius, and now we're tied again. Just make up your mind!
But the Armor of Fate, when placed on Guilliman, will be able to heal his wounds and bring him back alive. And to this, everyone was fucking like speechless. Completely.
Yo!
They listened well, they listened hard. Yeah, and this is like their Primarch.
Choice?
And then, after that, Yvraine stepped forward and spoke and said, unfortunately, in order to truly be able to revive Guilliman, though, his wounds and what he has sustained means that they need to have him undergo the cycle of rebirth. So in order for Guilliman to come back alive, he first needs to die. And they took this a lot worse.
Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Like, it would, like, okay, so it's like...
You'd feel like you were being tricked. If they were like, yo, I can bring your Primarch back, but, like, we gotta kill him first. You would think they were fucking with you. You would 100% think they were fucking with you.
Hell.
Well,
Jesus.
Calgar, well, everyone started screaming. Calgar said that he would, like, so long as he drew breath, no Xenos witch would ever lay their hands on the Primarch. The Grey Knight guy,
right.
Voldus moved to help Calgar as well. Inquisitor Grayfax and the Black Templar also moved on Calgar's side and was like, fuck that. The only people who were on Call's side were the Ynnari and Celestine.
That's cool.
And Celestine
really?
was
Okay.
like, Celestine was like, sisters, please, understand, having faith. This is the will of the Emperor, indeed. You must have faith that the Emperor will have everything work out. And naturally everyone's like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. This is different. This
is like when you get into a car accident and then someone goes to your hospital bed and it's like, it was God's plan. You're like, shut the hell up. But one person did stand alongside Cawl as well.
Ooh.
And that was this man that known as Chief Librarian Tigerius. Tigerius himself, the psyker of the Ultramarines, would also stood alongside Cawl.
Tiggy.
And said to, Calgar, like, hey, trust my counsel, as he saw hints of like a major vision. But as the people were starting to get crazy and angry, things got really bad.
For a nigh immortal zealot warrior, she's so nice. She does seem fairly nice. Also, Tiggy was the man on this one.
Right at that point, the roof burst the fuck open. And immediately a bunch of raptors came out of... Do you know what raptors are?
I feel like we've talked about raptors before, but I just think it's hilarious because when you first said it, I didn't make the connection, and I just thought a bunch of Jurassic Park raptors came out and they were like, "Arr!" and anyway,
that would be incorrect.
I hope so. It would be kind of awesome, actually.
Raptors are jetpack troops for chaos.
Yeah.
They have giant winged jetpacks.
Sick! Holy shit!
Yeah, they're super cool, and they also talk really weird. They talk with a lot of hissing, and they're very like they work like a pact. So they're like.
Celestine is like the friendly, crazy aunt that shows up at Christmas. I love that. To be honest, with Lionel Johnson coming back, that gives the Imperium a big buff. It does. They started from the Night Lords. Oh, okay.
Buzzing flies.
I know the Night Lords.
So the ceiling blew open and a bunch of raptors came down, bellowing like smoke out of their backpacks and screeching like condors on their way down. And then a whole bunch of Chaos Terminators teleported into the sanctum and started just opening fire on them. And so then all this discussion kind of stopped. And they're like, oh shit, Chaos is here.
My boys! Yes, Ricky, your boys. Also, can someone please untie the pole?
And they started fighting off the enemies. And Calgar is like blasting away with bolters and he's punching the shit out of people. The raptors are flying around and all of the sisters are taking fire at them. And Celestine is like flying in the air, cleaving raptors in two with their flaming sword. Like all this craziness is occurring. And then just this huge battle breaks out, right? And then some sorcerers and chaos psychers arrive and they start like casting incantations. And like Tigurius is fighting them off with his own psychic blast, and they're like doing the Voldemort Harry Potter thing with their psychic powers, and you know the Grey Knights are doing their thing, and then more Terminators teleport in, and then it's just things are going mad, right? And Calgar
shit has hit the fan.
Shit has come from the fan.
So Jarrett, I trust. So I'm gonna listen intently for a minute because I want to hear the good stuff. Also, carrot.
Fan is made of shit.
Ew.
And they're flying down. Like everything has gone crazy. Like this is the holy sanctum, right? This is like the place. The fact that they have breached the Primarch's chamber is that hurts. That hurts so much.
That would really hurt. Imagine if that like it's like when the Hand of Dawn was stolen. Like
on McCrag apparently for the Ultramarines. Yeah.
They kept on coming. The traitor forces kept on coming, and they were increasingly outnumbered over and over again. But during this period of time, Inquisitor Grayfax was kind of like looking around, firing bolters. You know, she's an Inquisitor, so she's good, but she's not much compared to Marines.
Hey!
And as she took a bolt shell to the stomach, but it didn't detonate, luckily, so it just like dented her armor and like probably bruised some ribs and knocked the wind out of her. Yeah. But as she stood up and looked to her right, she saw something not great, and it was Cawl furiously shitposting. Like every arm he has is going like he's fucking putting reaction images. He's making Doge Van Gyre jokes. He's on Reddit, Discord, Facebook. He is furiously shitposting. Every mechadendrite, every tentacle, every little piece of his fingers, everything moving at Mach 5. And this is right next to Guilliman's thing. And standing right next to him was Yvraine, patiently waiting. And so
were they gonna kill him during the confrontation? Just like, yo, they're not gonna agree to this, just get him done now. While they're attacking, let's get him. But that's gonna look like they were in cahoots. Were they in cahoots?
During this giant battle, Cawl is like, I don't need your permission. Which is, you know, it's funny because it's Cawl, but you know.
Is. So they're just gonna go forward and they're just gonna release Guilliman, kill him, revive him, no permission.
Cawl gives
Fuck
zero
this.
fucks.
Things are too crazy. Without Guilliman, we're fucked. Screw your dumb little Xenos bias. This shit's going down.
Basically, constantly, like while the whole thing was raging, Cawl is there getting his thing ready, getting it set up, getting the armor prepared, and his Skitarii bodyguard are helping him out, fighting off people. Yvraine is like, she only has a sword, but she's dodging bullets because she's Eldar. She's just like dipping and weaving, like adjusting her head, like moving with this weird gray blur, and she's just dodging bolt shots coming her way with just like her own nature, because that's what Eldar are.
Yeah.
But multiple attempts, Grayfax was like, no. So she kept trying to get to
Mechadendrite is a fun word.
But she kept being set back by things like autocannon blasts and explosions. And then she was ready to run up to him and say, I order you to stop in the name of the Inquisition, which is actually kind of a big deal. But I think Cawl would have probably ignored it regardless. But eventually she got pinned by rubble. Couldn't do so. And then Tigurius was also there standing next to them, like fighting off some chaos sorcerers. In fact, he just said a couple random syllables in his mouth and 3 fucking chaos space marines just like imploded in their armor.
Tiger, you were helping Tiggs?
And just like disintegrate. He was just like hoppa gobba dazaba zeh, and they just going.
That's a strong guy. That's a beefy psyker.
Yeah. Tigurius is this nutty guy. But when he saw those 3 souls like just disintegrate, Grayfax has like a metal eye, And since she's a psyker, she noticed that when the three of them died, their like soul kind of remained, like an after image, like a ghost, and then it was sucked in over towards Yvraine.
Oh.
And she was like,
oh.
"Oh no!" But during the battle, Calgar
Thank
is
you for
like
confirming.
just like furiously fisting people. He's running in there like punching Marines with his giant gauntlets and blasting around. And after one quick turn, he looked at the shrine and he saw a Cawl there, furiously working. He's like, "Oh no!"
I was gonna say, like, he's gonna think that this was orchestrated. Like, there is no way to convince him that it's not. Even if Guilliman comes back, they're not going to believe that you didn't orchestrate that attack, and the men that died, they're gonna put on your head.
Oh god. And the stasis chamber itself started to open. And Calgar immediately raised his bolters up to go fire at Cawl to stop him from doing what he was doing. But before he could even get his fist in the air, Yvraine, in a like blur of motion, brought her sword down and shattered all of the cables connecting Guilliman to his life support.
Oh.
And Calgar heard his Primarch sigh his last breath. And it's like
It's that, yeah, baby. Am I the only one who heard that? Like, I literally heard that like Austin Powers.
it's gonna haunt him to like the rest of his days, seeing his Primarch's final breath and his final death.
Oof.
And so obviously we know what's gonna happen, but for Calgar, like
Sure.
this is like needing
He assumed
therapy
the
levels.
worst. Yeah.
One liquid goo face commenting, disgusting.
Yeah, this is, I'm gonna need to be in therapy for God knows how long after this shit.
Forever. Every day.
Forever. And as that happened, the armor started capturing around Guilliman. It's like a tomb, and then the tomb goes over him, and then it pulls out, and then he has his armor on, basically. But right when this happened, Calgar then it turned into basically the
Hey,
it turned
Dad.
into that scene in Infinity War when they're fighting off the weird dog things and everyone's starting to get fucked up until Thor arrives. Basically, it was that scene. Calgar started becoming overwhelmed by the Terminators. The Raptors started murdering down the Ultramarines as they were getting killed by tanks. Voldis was like 1v5ing other Psychers and wasn't really able to handle them.
A lot of Jesus parallels, yeah, I can see that. Honestly, I do like when Space Marines are top dogs versus Inquisitors in combat. I prefer the need to use Guile and Grit to win versus Astartes. That's a vibe.
Yvraine and the
I like that
Vizark
too.
were battling Khorne Berserkers. Cawl was firing bolts of energy and using this binaric chants to upgrade his people's weapons.
I do need to look up Khorne. I need to learn more about him.
More Grey Knights arrived, and then in the sky came 10 separate drop pods.
Ooh.
Chaos drop pods.
Oh.
And they blasted through the shrine and landed in the ground. And each drop pod holds 10 Marines. And so 100 Marines strode into the fucking room.
Oh, jeez, that's no good. That's a lot of no mas.
Yeah.
Both of Celestine's bodyguards were down. One had a hole blasted in her from a plasma bolt, and the other one was just like frail on the ground. Celestine was fighting one-handed because her left arm was broken in like 7 places.
Shit.
Like everything is going down like mad.
I like things where there's a lot of war involved. Kind of the same when people 1v1 greater demons. I hate that when some Chad just cuts down some super demon. I, Cato Sicarius!
And at this point, like, and she was still singing prayers, by the way. The entire time
Of
she was
course.
saying prayers, because of course she fucking was.
Well, what else would she be doing, right?
Yeah.
Like, the defenders of this room were basically had minutes before they were done, before they were all dead. And right there, right then, Call's reliquary clicked green, and it opened. And Guilliman there stood with this brand new suit of armor, completely
Armor of
awake.
fate.
The armor of fate, completely awake
Yeah.
and aware, looking in front of him with this fucking face, this horrifyingly angry face.
Guilliman the Avenging Bean? Why are you calling him a bean counter?
That even the Ultramarines in the room got scared by it. And it's pretty cheesy, but the room went into like dead silence. Like everyone stopped fighting. And they all,
to be fair, Primark just came back.
It's meant for dramatic effect.
Of course.
And they all kind of look towards the, Guilliman standing.
What does that mean? How is he the ultimate bean cower? Praise Papa Smurf. Papa Smurf is back.
There, holding the sword of his father.
Ah.
Guilliman has
Thank
the
you.
Emperor's flaming sword itself. Like,
Oh, does he?
uh-huh.
Oh.
All those pictures of Guilliman you see with his flaming sword, that's Big E's sword. That is the sword.
I never made that connection somehow.
Emperor forbids one on
That's
logistics.
a big deal.
That's a
That's
big
a
deal.
real big. That's a big deal. Yeah.
So the silence was finally broken when a Khorne berserker screamed and threw himself at Guilliman, because of course it's Khorne. And with one motion, he flung his sword in the air and split the soldier from fucking gooch to skull.
Oh.
And then he just fell into flat 2 pieces and sloshed on the ground. And then the fighting really began.
Yeah.
Celestine looked at him and saw the son of the Holy Emperor himself. And at that moment, she was like, yes, everyone who died is no longer a fallen soldier. They're a martyr. This turned from a defeat to a history book battle. Her arm fucking healed it.
No. Never underestimate the power of multitasking. I used to do twice the work of my co-workers because I could multitask. And people were like, I don't get how you're reaching these numbers. Like, you're doing something wrong. And I was like, no, in fact, you are just incompetent. So yeah. Oh, they can perma-kill demons? Thank you for the info, Liam.
Itself, she rose her 2 bodyguards from the dead because she's so invigorated by this power, and then she just went to fucking town. And then Guilliman, I'm gonna read you this part from the wiki verbatim, all right?
Okay.
As he crashed into the front ranks of Black Legionaries, Guilliman let out a building roar of pure, undiluted fury.
I remember that, and Nurgle's still unhappy about that.
The Primarch's first blow threw a Black Legionary high into the air, blood streaming from behind a corpse in a red trail. His second strike smashed a traitor Terminator into a bronze and marble column with enough force to drive the Chaos Worshipper clean from his armor.
Yo, eater of chickens! Robbie G running the Imperium, simultaneously squirting over assassination attempts. Let's go.
Out the other side, a spiked fist swung for Guilliman's chest, only to be lopped from its wielder's arm before the blow could land.
What are you, some kind of accountant? 20 different tasks at the same time, hence he's the penultimate bean counter. No bean is encountered at sight. Ah, okay, I get it.
Guilliman's return swing parted its attacker's head from its shoulders, cauterizing the stump of the traitor's neck as the body crumbled to the floor. On it went, the Primarch moving with such speed that even the heretic's superhuman reactions couldn't save them. None could match Guilliman, none could come even close, and the few opponents that landed lucky blows found their weapons turned aside by the Primarch's masterwork armor.
Nice.
The man just fucked up everybody. And of course all the Ultramarines and them, they saw this Guilliman is a son of the Emperor is alive. And they're losing their minds and how they're stoked. That's a good way to make them fight harder.
That's a pretty good way to get stoked. Like, yo, my Primarch's back.
Oh god, yeah. You see Guilliman just fucking going to town. Not only is he super strong and turning the tide of battle, but this is fucking Guilliman. This is Primarch, son of an emperor. Let's go, right? If that doesn't get your blood pumping for a fight and really get down,
get down.
It was absolutely nuts to see him just go to town. Like I said, it's very much like that Thor part in Infinity War, where he just starts beating everybody.
Turns the tide completely.
But I also like this one part. Right before he was fixed, Calgar was like, "No, I went to call. I command you to stop in the Emperor's name." Like, Brother Tigurius stopped them, and Tigurius is standing there, and he just looks at Euphrates. He's like, "Do it, Euphrates, and may the Emperor condemn me if you played me false, Xenos."
Ad nauseum. Oh, Elko, Robo, Guilliman. I do like that one.
Yeah, I kind of like that part where he's like, do it anyway, but I swear to God.
If you're lying.
It caused so many issues. But it's kind of cool because like Celestine is like going to town, and you can see some cool things with Grayfax, where Grayfax is like, I erred and I shall do penance. You are truly an instrument of the Emperor's will.
Hype.
And Grayfax is like, vigilance is not a sin, Grayfax. You serve him as surely as I do. Let's serve together as warriors of faith. And, you know, I'm surprised there's not that many lesbian jokes about the two of them, because they really act like it.
Oh,
They are. Grayfax has such a what's the term? The tsundere, is that what it's called?
Yeah, where it's like, oh, I didn't do it because I like you or anything.
Yeah, she's got a lot of that
That's
energy
cute.
when it comes to Celestine. There's a lot of that energy. I'm surprised there isn't more of it.
Check
But
rule 34 tonight. It'll be
I
there, don't
know
worry.
it'll.
Patreon.com/adeptusridiculous. Next
Interesting. So obviously, the battle is turned. They still had to deal with the
I'm not
entire
surprised,
force fighting
but I'm a
Ultramar
fan
in
of
general.
those.
But as the battle started to continue to rage, Guilliman, being the fantastic, charismatic leader that he is, went to the various posts of like Calgar and a few of the other people and humbly asked them to turn their control over to him. Like, he didn't take command. He was like, Chapter Master Calgar, may I please assume your position in command of the Ultramar campaign? Which is, I mean, obviously he wants it regardless, but
Let's be honest, even if Calgar said no, he's not gonna be like, okay, cool, like, I'll take a back seat. He's gonna just fucking deck him. He's gonna be like, alright, listen, slap the back of his head and continue anyway.
just the word saying it instead of being like, I now take command of this engagement. You know, he's like, may I please have the thing? Obviously they're gonna fucking say yes.
Of course, like, he didn't even need to really ask. He could have just been like, yup, mine now. And it's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, take it. Well, I'm not gonna stop you.
It's very humbling.
Yeah.
But during this period of time, Guilliman, in his mind, is like, I will ask no questions. I will keep it all in the back of my mind. He literally fell asleep attacking Fulgrim and woke up here.
I appreciate him making the gesture, but what I'm saying is, there was no answer that could have been given other than yes. Also, Banana. He looks like Mark Strong. I don't know who that is.
In like a nanosecond.
Sorry, Cider.
He doesn't know.
true.
He didn't remember anything. So he simply did, okay, orders, assess damage, finish the war. Not any of this, like, what happened, where am I? Like, get it done.
Yeah.
Done first, because that's the most important part. But after enough time, they obviously drove back the invaders. They dealt with the enforces. Abaddon did not take Ultramar. All this stuff. And so now it was time for Guilliman to truly question.
Yo, beta thought experiment! Exactly. Have you seen the Kingsman? He's metal. I have seen the Kingsman. I get you.
Now is time. Now he can look around and be like, hey, wait a minute. Things are a little different than what the fuck happened here?
Where have I been?
Oh boy. Guilliman and current Imperium. I don't think he's gonna be a happy boy.
No, it would not. It's not going to be what I would like to call a good time.
That's one way to put it.
Definitely one way.
But all the discussions he had, he took in with all of the people in the Celestinian Crusade. He spoke with all of them. He asked basically everyone around, Calgar and stuff, and he constantly changed his emotions to whatever would make the person telling him feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Which was actually kind of neat. Like him himself were obviously, like, you know, physically it didn't feel very good waking up again at this point. But he spent days and days in conversation, and he used every like statesman, what does it say? Statesman's guile to set everyone he spoke to at ease, to tease them.
Okay, I just want to draw attention to the fact that someone has tied the poll again. Maybe someone else should vote. Just a suggestion. He's like, I'd like to take over everything he learns, everything he has to take over, and wanted to die again. Yeah, that's a vibe.
From the information as much as he could and to hide his reaction. But every single revelation, like, struck him so hard, like a knife to the gut.
Yeah.
He was so exhausted from this alone. And he said, like, you know, by himself in his own, with no one around him, he said to himself with his hands, or his head in his hands, like, millennia's passed, thousands of years, and look what has become of them, of us, idolatry, ignorance, suffering, and squalor in the name of a god who never desired the title. And then he says,
Man.
we failed, Father.
I believe in you guys and your ability to untie this pole. Next week needs deciding. Come on.
You failed your sons, and we in our turn failed you. And now to compound our arrogance and vainglory, we have failed all of them too. Did Horus not say that you sought godhood? He built a rebellion upon that claim. How would he gloat to see the Imperium now? And then he makes his, why do I still live? Just to suffer.
Jeez. I never thought about like how Horus would be like, ha! Told you. Gotcha. Told you. Told you this was gonna happen. You fucking loser. I never thought about that though. But
True.
yeah, Guilliman's probably not very happy.
He has ultra depression.
Mirror, mirror, don't you try and cause trouble here.
Oh, I bet you do.
Like, you know that image that we always keep
okay.
talking about where Celestine's putting on the thing on his head? That's called an Iron Halo. An Iron Halo is a force field generator. But Celestine considers it a worthy holy symbol of the Emperor. And so he's sitting there in his throne, surrounded by Cawl, who is just the weirdest person alive.
Of course.
Celestine, who's a demon, aliens, and they're like adding a force field generator that they think is a holy symbol to my back.
Oh,
Guilliman is so depressed. Man's gonna need so much Zoloft.
Everything with that scene is probably just infuriating him. There's nothing right to him. It's just this is all wrong. Nothing is like, so what does Guilliman do moving forward?
Well,
We can all hope.
well, it's weird. That gets into a little bit more of a lot more of the conversation of how do you change the Imperium, because he's Lord Commander of the Imperium now. Like he leads the Imperium at this point in time, not in the story, but like in modern day of Warhammer lore.
Makes sense.
But the first thing he wanted to do was tear down the ecclesiarchy, tear down the religious organizations, rip the church apart, do this whole thing. But not only would that have all of them think he was corrupted or something, it was Xenos that brought him back, and two, probably isn't the best idea in general, because if you destroy that industry, you destroy that whole part of the Imperium, you might leave yourself massively undefended. And let's not forget Celestine and the sisters. Like, we kind of need this. Like the religious zealotry is the only thing is the spit and the glue keeping the Imperium alive.
Oh man! So even though Guilliman knows it's wrong, knows it isn't what the Emperor wanted, and he wants to tear it down, he has to leave it. He has to live with it. He has to back it, because without it, the Imperium is fucked.
Kind of, basically, like, it's the only thing holding them together right now, and if he wants to fix it or change it, he's gonna need to wait a little longer.
Oh man, that sucks for him.
It really does.
Holy
it really
shit.
does.
Oh,
But we need to talk about the meme now.
The meme.
The meme.
Oh, that's right. Him and his big titty goth waifu, Yvraine.
So Yvraine is gonna leave now. This is the time when the Ynnari are gonna depart after a certain time. Yvraine, the Vizarch, and Guilliman are together in a room, and most people wouldn't even consider that because aliens, but you know, it's Guilliman. He's terrifying. Yvraine says, "It'll be a long and dangerous journey. The galaxy grows darker by the day. Have a care, Primarch. You may have cheated to death once, but you are not invincible." And Guilliman nodded and said, "Can I say nothing that will convince you to join us on our road? I have come to value the strength of you and your warriors greatly the past few weeks." And Yvraine says, "You cannot. Already we have given you the gift of rebirth, not to mention a number of our people's lives. Is that not enough? It is a debt I'm sure won't be forgotten. Before you depart, tell me this. Cawl may have fashioned the armor that I wear, but it was not him alone who ensured my resurrection, was it?" Yvraine smiled and said, "His acknowledged you would have healed your physical wounds, Rabute. But you and I know that the worst damage has been done to your soul. So no, Primarch, it is by the grace of Ynnari that you stand once more amongst the living. If you wish to remain, however, I would caution you against removing your war plate. Not that you could easily do so. And I could press you, Guilliman says, I could press you for greater insight into the powers that brought me back and assurances against any taint in their nature. And then the two of them kind of stiffen their postures at that statement.
Oh.
But I suspect that our newfound understanding is more value to my father's realm than my own satisfaction, and that those answers would not come easily. And Yvraine kind of inclined her head, and the Vizarch took his hand off of his blade that he kind of put on there for a moment.
Yep.
Thus, instead, I shall simply wish you a victory in your ongoing battles against our mortal foes.
Nice.
Our mutual foes, sorry. May you walk with fortune, Robute Guilliman, and I know that we will stand together in battle again before whatever befalls us. And then murmuring to himself as they leave, he says, no doubt we will, as long as it serves your needs. That's it!
Oh.
That's all the meme! That's all they got!
That's the
There's
whole conversation.
nothing else! There's nothing else! There's nothing! It's just a respectful conversation!
Nah, he definitely wants to bang her.
There's something, but that's, respectful conversation.
Nothing
wants to bang her.
else to this Guilliman Yvraine shipping. Hair to entering it. Literally can't be taken.
It says sorry.
At least I finally know it. But he does fancy
Save him.
each other, clearly.
Yeah.
Who help save him, and they don't want to kill
That was a trip. Inside of his
Alright.
little shrine.
That was adept
where
is
he was
ridiculous. And we're moving on to 2 pieces by the same creator, Wolf Lord Rowe. These are more story-based pieces. So I hope y'all are as excited as I am. Did their souls get freaky? I think their souls may have got a little bit freaky. I don't think that was overt, but like I get where they're like, yeah, no, he wants to bangaroo, in my opinion. I think that's quite clear. Kind of the problem with the Eldar, they do what they do for themselves and no other. It's true. He doesn't get enough attention. Well, he's getting 2 videos in a row today. So, you know what I mean? That's very exciting. I hope y'all are very... Aww. Sorry, I saw the kitty in the Pikachu hat. On Discord. A lot of the material is fanfic, so we'll see how that goes. We all know where fanfic goes. However... we're about to start 2, I believe they're both 20 minutes. Let me have a quick check. So it's about 45. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, get a drink. I'm going to grab a drink, go to the bathroom, and then we'll listen to this because these are my favorite things to do when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because I really like the story elements of things. So... back in just a moment. Ah, wrong picture. Heresy! Get a drink. We'll be right back. I hope you all got a drink and such. This week's poll keeps tying, but Belisarius is winning now. No one's made a blue ball joke. That's funny. Isn't the chapter master an absolute giant? I'm back, by the way. I got a drink. I hope you did too. I hope you're all comfy. And are you guys ready? Put a 1 in the chat if you're ready. Thank you, Command Unit, and welcome in. Whew. If you all are ready, put a 1 in the chat. We'll get started. Alfarius is winning the poll. So it looks like I'm going to be learning about Alfarius. She's back! She is! Nosferatu! I'm ready! I'm ready! I'm ready! Yeah, I was only got a minute. I said bathroom drink, that's all we do. It's just a little moment to get everything. Looks like we've got enough.
Wolflord Row here. First off, happy Thanksgiving to all my friends across the pond. I know things aren't exactly normal this year with the coronavirus and the lockdowns, but I hope you all manage to have a great time with your loved ones. And secondly, wherever you are in the world, I hope this video gives you a small break from the stresses we are all going through. But without further ado, today we discuss something I've been meaning to get around to for a long time, as we discuss Rebute Guilliman and the High Lords of Terror. Oh yes, this is going to be a good one.
Yes.
Spoiler warning to begin, the events we are discussing today are from the Warhammer 40k novel, Watchers of the Throne, the Emperor's Legion.
We're going to be
by
learning.
Chris Raitt. As always, I really recommend you read the story for yourself first, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. Not only that, we help to support the Great Games Workshop and Black Library, because without them, we don't have this amazing lore to talk about.
It's true.
As always, I'll put a link in the description. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. So, as we know, the Avenging Sun, the returned Primarch, returned to life at what was undoubtedly the most pivotal moment in the Imperium's history since the days of the Siege of Terra itself, some 10,000 years ago. But
why is Sneaky Boy winning? Because we've now got 48 votes, which is insane. For starters, and Alfarius suddenly just went up in the polls. Stocks are high on Alfarius, so you know, get him while they're hot. Maybe we should be all investing in Alfarius right now.
But in truth, the unrest and darkness had been gathering momentum long before.
I believe the Alpha Legion probably would see this and come in, so that doesn't surprise me. Let's go.
And the petitions and the calls for aid to Terra had been growing at an alarming rate. Year after year, the High Lords had been debating which war zones deserved more men thrown into the meat grinder, which could hold out longer alone themselves, and just which war zones were already lost. And no war zone was more often discussed than the world of Cadia. With every report that came back from this far-flung world, the situation only grew more bleak. Over the last 200 years, the High Lords had devoted an ever-increasing amount of time to that one world. Regiments had been thrown into the void to bolster it. Space Marine chapters had been petitioned to reinforce its approaches.
Hydra Dominatus. Love the books, love Chris Raitt, but the man is some of his stuff depressing. Well, it'll be good to get a good view of things.
Armorites and Strategios had been seconded to augment its walls and its fortresses. There were other battle zones of import. Armageddon, Badab, in which we were stretched, But in truth, none of them mattered besides Cadia. For if that world fell, then the balance of power we had cultivated for 10,000 years would be ended at a stroke. These were the words of Lev Tiron, Chancellor of the Imperial Council, essentially the man responsible for overseeing the meetings of the High Lords. And though not one of the High Lords himself, it was he and he alone that seemingly realised just how grave the state of Cadia had become.
Totally biased
And
take.
he took the very real risk to his own personal safety.
Biased take? Why bias? He's talking about so I would recommend it heartily. Oh, let's go.
At secretly trying to broker the impasse between the High Lords' vote on the dissolution of the Edict of Restraint, the law that kept the Adeptus Custodes bound to terror. The Golden Legion, the 10,000, the Watchers of the Throne, the greatest and most lethal fighting force in the Imperium's arsenal. Now more than ever, the Emperor's Legion were needed amongst the stars once more.
I'm sure we'll find out how much of a liar they truly are.
Not chained and bound to the depths of the Imperial Palace. If any could turn the tide,
Got ya.
it would be them. And when I say Tiron took the risk, that's no small understatement. For politics on Terra is more dangerous than any battlefield.
Fair.
Any of the High Lords could have him removed in the blink of an eye. Let alone Fadix, the Grand Master of Assassins, whose deciding vote could break the deadlock and change the fate of the entire Imperium, being the difference between its continued survival or possible doom. Now, I've raved about the amazing job Chris Raitt did in the Emperor's Legion before, but Tiron is the perfect example of this. He's such a brilliantly crafted character.
I got some 200 books and it's my fave from my favourite author. It's just really well written. I might read it. It sounds like it's good. And Mateo, I got you.
He's one of the most influential men in all of the Imperium, who could happily live what's left of his life in oblivious luxury. But he cares. This old man, shielded from the horrors of war, oblivious to the struggles of the simple citizens of the Imperium, and not once does he come across as unbelievable.
Oh.
This simple, aged old man denied an audience with Trajan Valoris, Captain General of the Adeptus Custodes, goes to the length of setting up intruders into the palace to draw out the Captain General.
Oh.
And despite being utterly terrified by the Master of the Custodes at war, he still finds the resolve to plead with him, beseeching Valoris to attend the High Lord's next meeting, to cast his vote. And for his fortitude, he succeeds.
Oh, let's go.
And Valoris does attend. But it was this meeting of the High Lords that was to be fateful. For as the final vote was about to be cast, once more declining to unleash the Custodes amongst the stars, despite everything Tiron had tried, the doors to the chamber flung open, and the comfeeds of the High Lords sparked into erratic life. Because it was all too late. Cadia had fallen. The chaos, no pun intended, that ensued across the Imperium was total. The forces of the ruinous powers run rampant across system after system, world after world.
Hydra Dominatus is like the Alpha Legion's motto, in case you were wondering. I think I've been told that before, but thank you for the clarification, Miramar. As always.
With the Astronomicon abruptly failing, even the very soil of terror began to give rise to cults and worshippers of evil, as the grey sky turned to a sickly red. Now, I want to discuss the failure of the Astronomicon another day, but there's a really great description from the custodian Valerian about the Astronomicon, about how it's so much more than just a beacon. It's a symbol for the Emperor himself, that he still lives. I mean, just imagine it. Having an actual physical symbol that your god is still alive.
I haven't forgotten my legal obligation. I'm putting rice in my rice cooker after washing it. One of the best investments I've made in the last 6 months. I love rice cookers. I need one. I do. But other things need my money first.
And not just alive, fighting for your very survival. And then to just have that fail, to be taken away. Can you imagine the sheer panic and terror that this would cause across the Imperium? Even for the basic person, the non-psyker. Though they can't see the Astronomicon, they can feel it, like a comforting security blanket across the Imperium's shoulders, bolstering your heart and your spirit. And this had been abruptly pulled away. And it was during this time of darkness that a legend of the past returned, with readings of power spikes off the scale coming from Luna. Adeptus Astartes ships and even Custodes began to take flight from Terra towards its moon. Tyron, finally having enough, travelled to Luna himself to see what latest malady had come their way. Stumbling over the uneven ground as he crested the rise before him, his view fell upon the crater.
I don't know if you'll go through it, but you get 3 different perspectives in the story, so it does a really good job on the events that happened over in and around Guilliman without involving him. I'm engrossed already.
At least 20 kilometers across. An ended battlefield, filled with wreckages and slain, but most importantly, living too. Thousands upon thousands of them. Adeptus Astartes, chapter heraldries from across the Imperium, from Black Templars to Nova Marines, forces of Adeptus Mechanicus, and even a living, breathing Saint Celestine. And there's just a great little line of the Custodes. Custodians, taller than all others.
Oh, I'm going to season and put in my pressure cooker only to try the outside in the broiler. I fucking love food. If you are eating or you are cooking ever during this broadcast and you don't tell me what you're eating, I'm going to be really disappointed. So please consider.
Could be spied amongst the vast host, surrounded by the highest heaps of broken corpses. What a line.
Sounds amazing.
You just don't mess with the Custodes. Late to the battle, and still racking up the kill count. They're just a level above. And it's lines like this that just compound the sin of the High Lords all the more, for not releasing the Emperor's Legion. But, amidst the survivors and corpses of ally and foe alike, at the centre of this vast crater, something dominates Tyron's attention. I never thought it would happen. I did not believe it possible. I thought the masses were ignorant and weak.
What flavour pot noodle? I'm eating Taco Bell, and I thought you'd tell me because it'd be me if I didn't. Yo, Fallen Gamer, welcome in! Nosferatu, what the fuck are chocolate and peanut butter Cheerios? Like, is that a flavour, or did you just add them to Cheerios? Also, Beta sounds amazing.
And that our salvation would come only from those powers we still retained, not the legends of a half-remembered past. Alone of all those assembled there, he noticed me limping amid the giants. He looked past the custodians who stood there, their spears streaked with blood. He looked past the captains of the Space Marines and the grotesque lords of Mars, and fixed me with cold blue eyes. I could feel my heart racing out of control. The whole place was like an intoxicated dream. A phantasm sent to drain the last sanity from our tortured bodies.
So I accept pictures in the following formats. A, put them on my Discord. B, put them on my subreddit. Either or. Whichever's easiest for you.
And yet, I could not deny its reality. When he spoke, the voice was accented strangely.
What the fuck is that a flavour? Where do you live, Nosferatu? That's not a flavour in the UK. Chocolate and peanut butter do not, like, we have Cheerios. We have Honey Nut Cheerios, and they're a bit much for me. Like, we just have Cheerios. Yo, where do you live? You're in America, aren't you?
Almost unintelligibly, the voice of another age. Despite my attire, he knew instantly who I was from the sigils of office on my environment suit, and was careful to address me with the utmost precision. Cancellarius Senatorum Imperialis, he said. It was only then that any of the others turned towards me. There was a shield captain close by in burnished gold, one I should perhaps have recognised. But by then, it was a challenge merely to remain conscious.
What type of yogurt? I love yogurt, but I'm quite plain with my yogurt. Like, I like a really subtle vanilla, or like a subtle raspberry, something like nice and subtle. Nothing like too fruity and nothing like too chocolatey. Just like something real subtle. I like drinking yogurts. I have a lot of those. I have some in my fridge. Drinking yogurts are big for me. But yeah, what type of yogurt?
I fell to my knees. The Lord Guilliman, I said, using both the given name and the ceremonial one. You speak for the High Lords, he asked. I nodded.
Thank you, Beta.
I could hardly bear to look into that face.
By the way, I would love to see it, Beta, but do bear in mind it may cause intense jealousy. But I do want to see it. Halfway through a giant Toblerone. Oh, I haven't had Toblerone in a day. You know what I mean? Like, in a minute. Like...
There was something both beatific and horrific about it. An abundance of power that was almost obscene. He was of another age. He was a myth that had died. He took a single step towards me, extending a vast gauntlet chased in gold and cobalt. Then...
Oh! Yes, I will share it for you right now. Let me grab a quick Discord link. Okay. Copy. That is my Discord. Please create a support ticket with your pronouns and you'll be given roles so you can enter the Discord. You won't have full perms and when you first enter. You've got to say what your pronouns are in a support ticket. Then you'll be given the correct roles and then we let you in. Yeah. So you should see a thing called support and it says create ticket. Once you've done that, one of the mods will get to you. Oh, probably me.
It is good you are here, Chancellor, Rebute Guilliman said. I have been away a long time. Perhaps, if your offices still extend to such things, you would be good enough to show me to your masters. And just like that, the true power base of the Imperium changed. Man, what a passage. So simple, yet so much to unpack. Legends of half-remembered past. How true this is. It's so often overlooked, but the heresy was 10,000 years ago. 10,000. I mean, just how we refer to, say, the Roman Empire. It's a history so long ago that what isn't dug from the ground is left to nothing but speculation and myth. And that was only 2,000 years ago. Let alone, say, Ramesses the Great of ancient Egypt.
Beta, I think I've just got your edition, so I've give you your roles. Just so you know.
Nigh on 3,000 years ago, how much these characters from our very real history are left to so much of speculation and legend. Yet here Guilliman and the rest of his brother Primarchs were 10,000 years ago.
Ooh, that sounds good. I might actually look that up, Dagan. It does sound pretty good. And the way... I love how he's reading this. I want to watch more of his stuff.
That's an incomprehensible distance. This is a true figure of legend standing before Tyron. And it's no wonder of his reaction, even for a man as important as him. And then the small details, his voice having a strange accent and being almost impossible to understand. Again, there's been 10,000 years for the language to evolve, or de-evolve as may be the case. And it's these small details that just make stories like these all the more real.
It's true.
Really making these moments feel like they are truly alive.
I agree.
And the final line. I have been away for a long time. Perhaps, if your offices still extend to such things, you would be good enough to show me to your masters. Oh snap. Self-indulgent playtime's over, High Lords. The Lord Commander is back. And he is not happy. But after returning to Terra and seeing for himself just what had become of the throne world, the palace was almost immediately assailed by the forces of Khorne, as the Blood God unleashed his demons against the Lion Gate.
Someone remind me I want Khorne on the next list, because there's a lot of stuff that I think could be really good to look at for Khorne, because I've heard of him a lot, but I don't know as much about him as I'd like. So I want Khorne on the list next week. Someone remind me.
In what in truth was truly a futile effort, despite being a great battle indeed, and many heroes being slain, the forces of chaos never remotely came near the Eternity Gate, with Guilliman tossing a bloodthirster from the very battlements of the walls, and the combined force of Custodes, Sisters of Silence, and Grey Knights.
Yes, if you are behind, just do a refresh. Nosferatu, what are your pronouns? Like, do you go by he, she, them? What do you prefer?
Simply being too much for even Khorne's legions to handle. After the battle, however, the High Lord's fate became the focus.
Yeah,
and
I'm
as
excited.
Guilliman entered the throne room to speak with his father, the High Lords already began to scheme.
It has the juice!
Hematalion, master of the
thank you.
Administratum, chief amongst them.
And same for you, Leo.
Calling Tyron to a private meeting, he begins with vague comments and references of disturbing rumours, before out and out saying it. The Primarch is a problem. And when Tyron remarks he is the Lord Commander, Hematalion merely replies, he was the Lord Commander.
Oh.
And there are others among the council that feel this way too, though he's careful not to share any names. The Primarch will take their power, even claiming Guilliman entering the throne room is temerity itself, for none of them have ever dared to do it. It's a classic example of being corrupted by power.
Yep.
They have a demigod returned before them, the best hope the Imperium has had for salvation since the last Primarch disappeared, and all they can do is worry about their own power. The council must remain strong, he repeated.
I do understand worrying about your own power, because, like, in this world, having power is one of the only ways to not guarantee you'll stay alive, because you can still get killed, but, like, it's one of the safest ways to live is with power, because you've got people to protect you.
While the Lord Guilliman remains within the sanctum, we have our chance to act. I have already agreed with Perif to forbid all fleet movements off-world. Arx has instructed those close to her to cordon off the sites on Luna and begin to limit the fallout from the Lion's Gate encounter. We can have 1 million more troops here within days, if the orbital defences are now deemed overmanned. They all owe their allegiance to us. The Titans are within Raskian's purview.
Yo, Timothy, it is getting good. Welcome in. Honestly, though, High Lords don't last long. Yeah, fair point. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. It does. Cornflakes. Cornflakes.
As are the Skitari maniples in system, and he's with us. I could hardly believe what I was hearing. We had been reduced to this, it seemed, squabbling over the conduits of power, even as the throne world disintegrated into starvation and lawlessness. With respect, Lord, I do not think this is the time to. This is the only time we will ever have. He is a Primarch. You know your forbidden history.
You could have sworn you were already in the Discord, but you're sorted now. It doesn't matter if you're in the Discord. You don't have to be in the Discord. The Discord is just something that I do have. No. The rules, just agree to them. That's why everyone's put like random shit. As long as they're agreed to. This guy was being a massive hypocrite, I agree. The only one that's important is the reaction roles. So the reaction roles for the YouTube. So if you want notifications for YouTube, I take all pet pics in main chat. To make things easier for a lot of people, I incorporated any random chat. So like pictures, memes, everything can just go in the main chat so we can all talk together. Easter of chickens. I'm going to give you all king. If y'all want something different, just message me privately. God, hello everyone. Discord popping off right now. We're trying to get the popcorn out. Come on, guys. Alright, let's go back to the popcorn.
They were fratricidal lunatics, prepared to tear the entire galaxy apart to pursue their feuds. We designed the Lex. He designed the Lex. Precisely to stop them doing it ever again. He cannot take control. And so the seeds of treachery are sown amongst the High Lords. Guilliman barely just returned, already having to have fought to defend the throne world. And now, seeking to see his father, is already being betrayed by the Imperium he loves. And it's surprising just how close to civil war the whole debacle came. A High Lord of Terror actually discussing how many troops he had under control, how quickly they could be brought to the surface of Terra.
Bear in mind that you may be at member 217, but that is because my I've been streaming on Twitch for a year. So for those who don't know, I was a Twitch streamer first and foremost. I have taken a back seat to focus on my YouTube, but I've done Twitch streaming for a year now, so that's the reason there's so many members in the Discord. It was originally just a Twitch thing, but then I opened it up because like you guys are amazing, so people have been trickling in from the YouTube too, and my other 2 YouTubes. So I've got like 4 distinct communities.
It's almost unbelievable. But I guess, is there any better representation of the Imperium as it's become? And what of the fates of the High Lords? Well, now that's a discussion for another day. But as always, guys, what do you think? Are you surprised at the treachery of the High Lords of Terra? That some of them truly conspired to prevent Guilliman from reassuming his role as Lord Commander? That they truly believe themselves above him to be better positioned to rule in the Emperor's name? And just what do you think was going through Guilliman's mind as he set eyes upon the throne world for the first time in 10,000 years.
Yeah, that's it.
As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below.
You know what? There's a video about that? Really? We're back with more of this guy.
Hey everyone, Wolflord Road.
No, I'm joking because I'm just going on to him again.
We have a good one. Today we are discussing Belisarius Cawl unveiling the Primaris Marines for the first time ever to reboot Guilliman.
I was gonna say we've got really trying really not hard to gush over the book. Honestly, it's a vibe. The book is like I'm having a lot of fun. Well, fun. I'm enjoying listening to this right now. You did it again. You did what again? What did you do? Don't worry, there's a video already done. Yeah, there's always videos. I'm really enjoying this topic. But my thoughts at this present time is I think it's a 6-part series. Yeah. I've been recommended certain ones that are the best to like give me an overview and also to talk through with you guys. But I'm really enjoying it. I do like Lord Rowe. Oh, said something a second before you show it. I know. I like. But this is the thing. That's good. Because it means that I'm doing the right stuff.
Spoiler warning to begin. The events we are discussing today are from the Warhammer 40k novel Avenging Sun by Guy Haley. As always, I really recommend you read the novel for yourself first, because that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. Not only that, we help to support the Great Games Workshop and Black Library, because without them, we don't have this amazing lore to talk about.
Listen, I'm always a smart ass, and you do brag about your food, and I love it, but I'm jealous. Wait, am I a psyker? Well, I have a black ship to avoid now. Hey, I'm a psyker, so you're with me there, Liam.
I will put a link in the description as always. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Okay, so 10,000 years ago, after the Horus Heresy, Reboot Guilliman assumed the role of Lord Commander. Exactly when and how long after the heresy this took place still remains to be seen, because I'm still putting money on it being after the lion has disappeared. But anyway, I digress. At some point before Guilliman's untimely death at the hands of his brother Fulgrim, Guilliman ordered Belisarius Cawl to secretly begin work on the Primaris project, an improvement upon the current Space Marine template, of course created by the Emperor himself. And in fact, this was but one of Cawl's secret projects. In truth,
I've just lost chat. Praise Slanesh. Damn right. Damn them black ships. Oh geez, witches. I'll get the flavor. Gotta shout out my Gobelite and the Devastation of Baal as my favourite novels. Ooh. Oh yeah, you've mentioned the Devastation of Baal.
Guilliman has set him several, and each of them apparently matches the Primaris project in magnitude. Now, what those projects are, only time will tell, but it's definitely interesting to think about. Just what has Cawl been up to all this time?
Fair point.
And if Guilliman gave him access to something as important as the Primarch project, what else has Cawl been given access to? I think we'll have to do a theory video on that later in the week, because it's very intriguing to think about.
Really?
But after Guilliman's resurrection and arrival to Terra, he receives communication from Mars. An emissary is inbound with a message for the Primarch, from none other than Cawl himself. And true to the ego-driven nature of Cawl, Guilliman knows that there will be more than a little theatre involved. And well, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Guilliman receives the emissary in one of the palace's halls, and he's brought with him his entire Victrix Guard, 3 High Lords, representatives for each of those not in attendance, and a whole host of delegates from every conceivable organisation. Cawl likes theatrics, well, Guilliman is giving it to him. And then Cawl's delegation arrives. A whole host of tech priests and servants of Mars. They come parading through the doors of the other end of the 3 Mile Hall. Trumpets blaring, incense waving and prayers rising as they parade their way towards the Primarch. And finally, once all the pomp and circumstance is over with, the announcement Guilliman has been waiting for is heard.
Why? I would love more of this stuff recommended. Guys, if I'm covering a topic, so it looks like Alfarius is going to win. If anyone has any good story-based videos on it, let me know. Please do leave them in the comments after the video, because I love listening to this sort of stuff with you guys.
The Archmagos announces that his great labour of 10,000 years is done. The mission you tasked him with was arduous and complex, but he rose to the challenge, and employing all the arts the machine god saw fit to bestow upon him, he has exceeded your requirements in every way. He invites you to view the fruits of his labour in 3 days upon his Arch Mechanicus. Rejoice, my lords and ladies, the salvation of the Imperium of Man is at hand. Exceeded Guilliman's requirements. That's quite a claim. It makes you wonder just what were the requirements. I mean, knowing Guilliman, it wouldn't have just been improve. He would have set specific criteria for Cawl to reach.
I kind of like whenever Guilliman and Alpha Primaris have to talk to Cawl, there's a lot of eye rolling. Secret Toaster Project? What's the Secret Toaster Project? Someone fill me in on what that is. Come on, Ether. Drop me the goss.
So it makes you wonder, just what was that criteria? But on to Cawl's flagship the story goes. Deep within the bowels of the ship, Guilliman's procession arrives in a room, miles wide and darkness all around the edge. 100 grey armoured Primaris Marines are viewed for the first time, before Cawl, showmanlike as always, makes his entrance, descending on a platform from the ceiling. And as he greets the dignitaries of the Imperium and the Primarch himself, Lord Rabute Guilliman, creation of the Omnissiah.
Wolflord also has a video going over the Alpha Legion's first time seeing Primaris Marines. That sounds like it'd be fun to listen to. It's a secret? Shit! But I want to know about the toast. Is my toaster Horace? Is that the secret?
He ends with my friend. And well, don't get me wrong here. It's obviously a nice thing to say, but it's also truly a reflection of Cawl's opinion of himself. Who else in the Imperium would truly dare to call the Lord Commander of the entire Imperium a Primarch, a living son of the Emperor, their friend?
Hey, why can't he be a friend? We've got homies, you know?
And just listen to his words as he makes his proclamation. You have passed through this ship of mine and seen some of my work.
Ooh,
improvements to weaponry, armour and attack vehicles.
Wait, who are the unnumbered sons?
Salvaged ancient knowledge and entirely new designs. The scale of what I have achieved in armaments and war gear exceeds the wildest dreams of my colleagues. But it is the lesser part of the work. These warriors you see here before you are the crowning achievement of my project. You bear witness to a new founding, he said joyfully. A new kind of warrior. The Primaris Space Marine. He chuckled, a most incongruous sound. Do not think me a heretic for my presumption, for the Lord Guilliman commissioned me to undertake this task. Even I do not have the temerity to tinker with the Omnissiah's work without permission. It was Lord Guilliman that gave me access to what few records and materials appertaining to the Space Marine's creation survived the Great Heresy War, including the remnants left from his original Primarch project. May the machine god ever guide and watch over his incarnate component.
It's probably a big toaster with extra ports. You know, but some... Ah, okay. Okay. Thank you. That makes sense.
In a few moments,
Thank you, Fallen.
you will see that although my labours were millennia long, understanding even the work of the Emperor himself was not beyond my genius. And I have exceeded the Primarch's demands in every way.
I knew what you were getting at. I knew what you were getting at. You didn't need to add that extra comment here. I got the vibe.
Did you see it? The scale of what I have achieved exceeds the wildest dreams of my colleagues. Even I do not have the temerity without permission. Understanding the work of the Emperor himself was not beyond my genius. And again, I have exceeded the Primarch's demands in every way. And this has always been the concern with Belisarius. It's not his loyalty, it's...
Wait. Yes, he did. So we had to watch the combined chapters together to play on the individual strengths. That's cool. Even machines get lonely. Oh my fucking god. Right, we're not continuing with this topic. Maybe the Sun Eater is hiding in the toast.
his sheer arrogance, his sense of superiority. He can never conceive of being wrong. He is always right. And not just right,
True.
better. And knowing that about him, do we truly believe he didn't create the Primaris from the traitor Legion gene seed? If he believed it was the best thing to do, that this was what the Omnissiah always intended, would he really have stopped at Guilliman's objection? Or would he have done it in secret anyway? And that then leaves us with the dangerous question. How long is it until Belisarius believes he is the best solution for the Imperium? He quite probably believes it already. He already wants to be the head of the Mechanicus. Do we truly think his grandeur and ambition has limits?
Yes.
But after again claiming he's perfected the Emperor's work, with a smart level of praise to the Omnissiah, he unleashes the Primaris into action. And it's clear, they are indeed superior in every way. The replacement of the future.
Ooh.
And during this action, there's a quick side scene where Captain Messinius meets Cawl's personal creation of Alpha Primus, the Frankenstein prototype that Cawl placed more than one gene seed into. And Primus actually warns Messinius, Cawl cannot be trusted.
Yeah,
That
it sounds like it.
he is loyal to the throne and the salvation of mankind, yes, but that Cawl overplays his genius.
We all know that guy. That's the guy that's like on, I am very smart. Who's just like, yeah, I am. Like, he's like, I am the god now, essentially. That's kind of where it's gone. You know. Maybe they should call in the Striptodes? Oh my god. Right, tell me Striptodes don't exist. Cawl versus Fabulous Violin, who is the maddest scientist? I'm gonna give it to Cawl.
And that he walks a crooked path. And then, that his own very existence is proof that he cannot be trusted. Now, I love the line about the crooked path, and it does make you wonder just what was Primus exactly referring to. That's definitely another discussion to come. But finally, as the display of action comes to a close, Guilliman finally speaks. You have excelled yourself, said Guilliman. I'm at a loss for words. I had 10,000 years, my lord Rabute. Cool.
Hey, Alpaca. He probably should be the Fabricator General, but it would be such a jarring change to the fundamentals of Mechanicus that it would likely cause a major destabilization. That's why Guilliman refused. Understandable. Wouldn't say Cawl is crazy. If Fabius, you can make a strong case for, I would love to hear the case.
Paul said. Maybe I got
Thank you, Alpaca.
a little carried away. I expected a better breed of warrior, better weapons. Everything I have seen since I awoke has shown me nothing but decline. This is... Guilliman paused. Something new, said Cawl, nodding his head in satisfaction. I am an innovator. Many of the others call me heretic for this. But I am what none of them are.
Mad scientist. Chose the wrong god. Cawl humble.exe has suffered a fatal error, shrugs. Ego.exe has taken over all personality functions. I fucking love that mirror. Oh no, if Cawl was made Fabricator General, it'd call Mechanicus Civil War 100%. Oh, okay, fair. So we don't do that then. Gotcha.
I am a scientist. They use that as a slur, but I am a true servant of the machine god. I studied the work of the Emperor closely. I used the ancient arts of deductive reasoning. This is no heresy. Indeed, I say more honour is given to the machine god by using his tools properly and not falling prey to the dogma of rapturous unenlightenment. You have given me an army, said Guilliman. Cawl turned suddenly, rising up on his mecha pedal carriage and spreading all the limbs wide. Army, he said, cranking up the amplification of his voice so that it rolled around the hold like thunder. He laughed. An army? My lord, I have given you legions. Behold, Cawl cried, the true extent of my genius.
Is it his genius though?
And as the lights all throughout the vast chamber come on, the true extent of Cawl's work becomes clear. Thousands upon thousands of Marines stand.
Look into your hard drive, open your mercy file. File not found.
Except this time...
Isn't that from Futurama? Look into your hard drive and open your mercy file. File not found. I'm pretty sure it is.
in first founding chapter colours.
Yeah, I knew it!
Or should that be first founding legions? Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Ultramarines, White Scars, every loyal first founding chapter is represented.
Yeah.
25,000 on board, 5,000 on each of Cawl's ships, and countless thousands more still in stasis upon Mars.
Yes, it is! Ah. The Robot Mafia, I completely forgot. Well, I didn't forget about the Robot Mafia. But he's like there, but he's good. He's like, file not found. I don't know why I went Russian. Don't cancel me.
We're not given an exact number, but it's certainly implied.
Lucy Lubat. You're amazing. Philip J. Fry.
That there's at least hundreds of thousands. And with each of the Primarch's lines now equally represented, the time of the Ultramarine superiority is over, and the return of the legions is more possible now than ever. I'll be honest, my first thought was, well, there's Lionel Johnson's legion sorted out. But on a serious note, although unlikely, if a Primarch were to return and wish to reform his legion, it's very much a possibility now. I'm trying to remember the novel Guilliman makes a quote about realising it was a mistake to break down the legions into chapters. It must have been one of the Dark Imperiums. I'll have to have a look back and try and find the quote. But wouldn't it be something if Guilliman refounded the 13th Legion? I mean, he pretty much treats all of his successors as Ultramarines anyway. And you have to think, What are the High Lords thinking with this many Space Marines abroad in the Imperium?
Let's be honest, Primarch, we got two different things going on here. I know what Primarch you mean. It's not the Primarch they mean. Admech kind of can be split into inventors and people who think invention is heresy. Cawl is too heavily in one faction, so the others think he's heretic, plus he views himself as a messiah. He does seem to have an ego issue.
For the first time since the days of the heresy, I'm willing to bet there's more than a little trepidation. And indeed, are any plotting against the returned Primarch. Now that's a future storyline definitely worth exploring. But as always guys, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love
that. Was such a good ending to this. I loved that. I loved that a lot. Okay. So, a very, very naughty boy. Okay. Okay, no Nosferatu. That is the end of what we were looking at today. I think I've learned a good lot, and I had a really good time with that part of the video. But one thing I want to say before I go on to the final screen is, just a reminder, thank you again to my royal patrons, my tier 2 supporter, Izzo, and my tier 1 supporters, Hansel Panda, Suki SJ, Sternly, Dan Cohen, Chaos315, and Matt Ben. You guys are integral to me running this channel the way that I do, and the amount that I do, because you guys do a lot for me. Every support on Patreon is huge. They also get, early access to all my videos, and no Chaos! I was just thanking you as a Patreon though. The newest video on Harley Hammer Tyranids will be out Tuesdays. Patreons, your video I will be releasing on Tuesday. I'm not going to tell you what it is though. And Thursday we have part 9 of Hell's Reach, and part 10 of Hell's Reach will be on Patreon. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. I really do appreciate it. Yes, the Nom Nom bugs. I did a video on the Nom Nom bugs in Harley Hammer. Lawhammer's already taken Alpaca. Already taken. And it does look like we're doing Alfarius tomorrow, so remember, any recommendations you have, drop them in the comments. I should have done it first. I wasn't even on YouTube at that time, Alpaca. Fuck off. Oh, I love you. I love all of you. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you guys so much. I just want to say, leave any recommendations of videos in the comments. Don't forget to like, because liking these, it all helps. We're trying to grow an amazing Warhammer community and, I guess, just chill community in general. So the support is really, really appreciated. I'm proud of you all for getting through today. Wait, can you vote multiple times? But I'm even more proud of you for getting through tomorrow. Arrivederci, arrivederci, good shudders, alluego. Peace! See you all for the videos Tuesdays, Thursdays, and for the live at 6 PM UCT on Sunday.